Now, I know what you might be thinking. You're thinking to yourself, this is all just a dream. And in a little while, I'm going to wake up sweating profusely from the excitement of it. But I'll suddenly realise actually the past few weeks have been just in my imagination. No, it is actually real. My name is Stephen Dawes. This is Palace to the Core. Thank you for joining me. I do hope that you will subscribe for more Crystal Palace news, views and reviews. And yes, it did happen. We did beat Manchester United, and to a point that even I didn't realise we would do, to be honest with you. Twitter was awash with Crystal Palace comments on the night, and rightly so. It was a huge achievement, I think, from us. Yes, it was. Yes, there were some caveats to it, which I'll come to, but it was a huge result for us. I think it was one of the best performances we've put in terms of our play in terms of getting forward and scoring goals. Again, a little caveat, but I'll come to that in a little while. So, in terms of the personnel, it was very much similar to what we've played before. Eze and Elise were both in there. They were both on opposite sides, and it works so well when we've got Elise and Eze together, because they swap over, they move up and down that line just behind Mateta, just around the 18-yard box, and it works so well because they, it's very hard for teams to pick them up. It's very hard for teams to know what they're going to be doing, and they, I think, relish it. I think they love playing in that position because they've got the freedom to go and get the ball or to make themselves available and do things with the ball, and I think it's one of the best positions for both of those two to play in, and it was that way. We had Mark Gahey on the bench, which is great to see. Fantastic that he's now available. And really, it was a formidable lineup, and I said this on Twitter. It's a formidable lineup when I saw it being advertised, and people agreed with me, and I think it absolutely was. So I said in my preview that this was a good time to meet Manchester United because of the fact that things are going on behind the scenes, and they've got lots of injuries, and they're not playing particularly well. So I did say it was a good time to play them. I didn't realise how good a time it was to play them, to be honest with you, because right from the very beginning, we were stamping our authority on the game. We're closing down the way that we have been doing over the past few weeks. We were closing them down. We were forcing them to make mistakes, forcing them back into their own half, and I was really impressed that we were doing it again. I felt that there comes a point when you're playing in the way that we were playing, when you think to yourself, there's got to be a game when we don't play as well as that. And I think perhaps in Fulham, it was perhaps a game a bit like that. We worked really hard, but didn't quite get what we wanted from it. But this seemed to be a little bit different, because certainly as the first half was progressing, they were kind of letting United have the ball at the back when they were playing around at the back, and I was thinking to myself, not quite pressing as hard as we have done in previous games, but we were still pressing. We were still trying to get the ball off them. We were still harrying them and getting into their face and and coming in with the challenges, and it was putting them off. And then I thought to myself, well, actually, I don't know necessarily whether we need to be as hard as we have been against other teams such as Newcastle, because Manchester United just didn't seem to have anything to give. You could tell from the way they were playing. They were making mistakes. They seemed to be no real game plan as far as I could tell. They weren't really trying to create anything meaningful, and to be honest with you, I was a little bit concerned about it, because I thought that we were really on top of the game. We were dominating the possession. Yes, we were letting them have it in certain areas, but then we were coming in and getting the ball off them and trying to make things work as we had done before. And it just seemed as though I was a little bit in shock. I was thinking, this can't be right. This has got to change at some point. It can't all be us the whole time. But it really was. It was an amazing situation to be in. And then on 12 minutes, just 12 minutes after the game started, Michael Elise got a great goal. I mean, it was a bit of a scuffed shot, perhaps I think. No, Michael Elise, I wouldn't bet against it being an actual, on target on purpose. But it looked a bit of a scuffed shot. But it went in. It went in down the right-hand side. And it was a great goal. 12 minutes, and you're thinking, hang on, we're 1-0 up against Manchester United with 12 minutes gone. Really was something we deserved, and we played well up until that point. But I was really, shocked about it all, to be honest with you. And then we kept on plugging away, and we were still having a lot of the ball. Yes, Manchester United had a couple of chances to get forward and trying to make things happen, but in the general terms, we were in control. We were passing the ball around, we were trying to hold up the ball. A couple of times we gave the ball away, which is a little bit frustrating, but you can't have it 100%. And it was great to see that we were really working hard as a team to get the ball back if we did lose it. And everyone seemed to be working really well together and playing really well together. The middle of the park was something that we were dominating completely. And anything that was going over the top, which they were trying to do balls over the top, was being picked off by Richards or Anderson or something like that, and it was working really well. And then of course they would get the ball and it would start all over again. So there wasn't a huge amount of outlet for Manchester United, which I felt was good, because we were stopping them from having the outlet, which I think worked really well. And then just before half time, on 40 minutes, we got another goal from Jean-Philippe Mateta. It was a great goal. It was a lovely goal. It was a fired shot across the face of the goal into the back of the net, past Onana before I think he even knew about it. There were people criticising Onana, and yeah, I think he did have a pretty bad day. He wasn't on his game, but you still got to take the shots. You still got to get them on target, and we were doing that. And Jean-Philippe Mateta with a fantastic shot, and it was good to see him still getting on the score sheet, because I think that his confidence is growing with every game, and I think he's almost going to be not wanting the season to end, because he's on such a good vein of form even. So hopefully that will continue into the summer, and you'll keep that momentum going for next season. But that was a really good goal on 40 minutes, and of course it went in with us 2-0 up. And I said on Twitter, I can't imagine that Manchester United will come out second half exactly like that. They've got to come out in the second half with a bit more fight. I can't imagine that we did so well in that first half. It's got to be tighter than that in the second half, but it really wasn't. Manchester United came out and they started to play a little bit. A little bit of the dirty tricks started to come out, and you could tell they were getting frustrated, and it didn't. And I was getting frustrated by the fact that the referee wasn't giving the fouls. We were getting fouled quite a lot, and especially in the first half, and he just wasn't giving them. He wasn't giving any of them. There was I skipped past it in the first half. There was a goal that was actually deemed not a goal because there was an infringement on Dean Henderson, and it was an infringement. I don't think a lot of people were saying that he should have been stronger and stuff like that, but no, because I don't think that the Man United player was actually going for the ball. I think he was going to put off Dean Henderson, and I think that Dean Henderson came for the ball, didn't get it because he was being barged. So I think it wasn't a goal. I do agree with that, and I just think that it was one of the situations where you could see they were getting a bit frustrated, starting to put the foot in a bit more, starting to be a bit more aggressive. But it didn't work, because we were still on top of the game in the second half. It was still working really well. And then on 58 minutes, Tarek Mitchell got a goal, which I think a lot of people were in the team were very pleased about. It went across the goal. Anderson managed to go back the other way across the goal, and Tarek Mitchell had a really, really good tap in, really, to be honest. And great to see him score, because he does work incredibly hard, and it was good to see that there were crosses coming in. We were putting some crosses into the box, and which was great to see. So that was 3-0, and at that point I was kind of pinching myself, thinking, what's going on here? Man United were playing really badly, and we were playing. I don't think we were playing at our best. I think we didn't need to play at our best. We were playing not in top gear, I don't think. We were working hard, as we always have done under Glasner, but I don't think it was one of our hardest fought performances. And then on 58 minutes, then on 66 minutes, we had another Michael Olise goal. And this was a lovely goal. Again, it was poor defending. Casemiro this time, he made a number of really bad mistakes in this game. He made a mistake for the first Olise goal. He made a mistake for the second Olise goal. Didn't get the ball out, didn't shepherd it out properly, and Olise got it. And when he comes along that 18-yard line, on his, and you can see he's going to shoot with his left foot. You think that's going to be something special, and it was. It flew past Onana before you could even think about it, and absolutely fantastic goal. And he ran straight to Oliver Glasner as well, which is a great touch. I'm hoping against hope. And it is a hope, because I don't think it's going to happen. I'm hoping against hope. I was thinking about it while I was watching the game. I really, really hope he stays with us in the summer, because he's such a talented individual. That's the reason why I don't think he will, because he's so talented. Someone's going to snap him up, but he really, really is such a joy to watch. And that was 4-0. But it could easily have been many more. I mean, those are the chances that I told you that we scored. We created so many others that were either saved by Onana, or Edouard hit the post. Other shots didn't quite go on target or went over, or but we had so many opportunities. Every time we went forward, I thought we were going to have a goal scoring opportunity, and a lot of times we did, because they just had nothing to give. Manchester United, they had no response to it whatsoever, and also towards the end of the game. Typically, as a Palace fan, typically what happens is if we played well, the last 10 minutes it's all hands on deck trying to defend the lead, or trying to defend the scoreline, because Man United whatever are just pounding us with crosses and shots. It didn't happen. We were passing the ball around. Man United seemed to have just given up, and we were passing the ball around, still getting it forward right into the end of the game. It really was an amazing game to watch, and it's one of those games where if you haven't seen it, you do have to see it, because it's going to go down as one of the games of the season. Certainly one of the games of Crystal Palace's time. I think it's going to go down as one of those, because it really was a fantastic performance. And it's also one of the things that Glasner said he wanted. He was pleased that we'd kept the number of shots down to single figures, and they did it again. We had 18 shots, 10 on target, which is fantastic, and scored 4 goals. Manchester United had 7 shots, 2 on target, so they only had 2 shots on target in the whole game, and that's really, really good against Manchester United. Albeit they were, they had a lot of injuries. They were fielding a squad that they probably wouldn't field if they had all their players fit. But you've got to play the team that comes on that pitch, and they still had a huge amount of talent on that field. Didn't do anything with it, which is a real, it's a shame for them, and it, would have made perhaps a better game. But for us, I'm happy. And we had they had more passes. They had 200 more passes than we did, and it still didn't make any difference. It really was bizarre. Talking about individual performances, Elise, a Rolls Royce of a player. He glides along the grass as though he's on a cushion of air. Whatever he does, he was doing little flicks, little back heels, all kinds of things he was trying to do, and they were working. I think most of the time, he was just in the zone on that in that game. Really, really class performance from him. Eze played really well. Didn't get on the score sheet, although he had a couple of chances. I think if he'd had his goal scoring boots on yesterday, I think it could easily have been a lot more goals going in, because he was good, but he just didn't have that final finish against that day, which is a bit of a shame. Mateta, typical Mateta, worked really hard, and so did all the guys at the back. Munoz, defending and working really hard down that right hand side. And then the players who came on also had a great time. Gahey came on with about 13 minutes to go, and he had a really solid performance, passed the ball really well. Riedewald came on, and I thought actually Riedewald played not too badly. I think he was in the middle there. He was passing the ball quite well. He was doing some really good passes. I think he had a decent game. You had Schlupp came on again, had a decent performance. There wasn't really anybody I felt that didn't have a good performance in that game, which was really, really good to see. And I hope that that this will be carried on now. So we've got a couple of games left, and Glasner wants us to be unbeaten. I think there's every chance we could be unbeaten if we continue to play the way we are. And it's just one of those games where you think to yourself, was I dreaming? I really can't get over it. Anyway, I've waffled on for far too long. That is it for me. Please let me know down in the comment section what you thought of the game, if you saw it. Let me know who your man of the match was. Mine was Elise, obviously, because of the way he was playing, but it could easily have been anyone on that pitch. They all played so well. Let me know who your man of the match was. Let me know what you thought of the game. And it really is one of those things to go down in Palace history as one of the games of all time. and I will see you next time.